this how you have to, or don't take it at all. Our time is growing small, the writing's on the wall. Take this how you have to, or don't take it at all. Our time is growing small, the writing's on the wall. Take this how you have to, or don't take it at all.
Shalom. Giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwarash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And I wanted to do a response to the backlash surrounding the 2024 Olympic Games, all right, which when you deal with the Olympics, all right, it takes you back to the Greco-Roman Empire, all right, and the games associated, okay, with the idols and practices of those empires. All right, now when we understand what's happening here today, all right, with America, which is Babylon the Great, this beast system, all right, the NATO and the EU, pretty much we know and understand, all right, that the image and the customs of the ancient Greco-Roman Empire, all right, have been ultimately pushed or reborn back into the earth, starting with the Renaissance period, all right, which happened around the 1400s. And when you look at this beast system that, you know, devours and controls the earth, all right, there is an image associated with it that they are forcing and pushing onto the people. And that's all that this Olympic, you know, madness represented. Now, I'm not going to play too many clips because from what I'm hearing, they're taking down videos. But as you can see, all right, this is an idol, all right, and you can clearly see that this is, all right, idol worship, left hand satanic practices. They were literally doing, you know, rituals, you know, sacrificial mockings, which they're really doing those things, you know, behind closed doors. And ultimately, as we get closer and closer to the end of this thing, all right, we're seeing the image, which is their religion, their way. When you deal with the image of the beast, many Israelite camps like to, you know, limit it to a white picture of Caesar Borgia, all right, the picture of white Jesus that dominates the earth, all right, but it's way more than that, all right. It is a culture, all right, it's a way of governing, it's a way of life, and it's all rooted in rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Now, there's been some backlash, but I wanted to play this clip real quick, okay. As you can see here, some people say that this was a mocking of the Last Supper, which the picture, you know, associated with the Last Supper itself is an abomination, all right. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can pull it up. Donald Trump said it was a disgrace. When you deal with this picture of the Last Supper, which a lot of people are, you know, as you can see here, they're linking these two, which we know that this is the anti-Messiah, right? Now, some people are saying that it's too many people in this picture to be associated with, the, you know, but even this picture of the Last Supper is an abomination. All right, the Last Supper pictures as we know it, okay, you can't even find one without, you know, them bringing up this garbage here, but here's one. This in itself is an abomination because our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai didn't look like this, all right, nor did any of the disciples that were with him or the people who were at, all right, his feast, which was done in the upper room, all right. Now, I'm going to play this clip here, which this Satanist, Whoopi Goldberg, you know, pretty much, she said something that was true. All right, a lot of people are, you know, coming at her But what she said is true. As you can see here, it says The View co-host comedian condemns critics of Olympic Last Supper drag show, saying watch something else. Now let's listen to what she says here, because she actually did say something true.
The guy who actually put it all together said it was from the Feast of the Gods, which is a 17th century Dutch painting of the Greek Olympian gods, the Olympian gods, because it's the Olympics. Right. Okay. And there are many more people in the picture they're talking about here. There's people on the side, and it's like, come on, y'all. It's the Olympics. Stop. They're not trying to do anything except talk about the history. They're showing you the history. There are too many people in the picture for it to be the 12 disciples and then the 7 or 8 other people who are in the picture.
Now, you heard her. She said they're just showing you the history. And that's true. All right. But they're making the history, all right, live itself in this time as well. All right, as we know, the image of the beast, when you get the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, okay, in the second verse it says, "And the beast which I saw, which is this Edomite power structure that rules the earth, was like unto a leopard," starting with the Greeks. The Greeks represent the leopard. You see what I'm saying? And his feet were as the feet of a bear, representing Russia, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, all right, the British Empire. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And the dragon represents, all right, the ancient Western Roman Empire, all right, which the Greco-Roman power structure, all right, is the image that is being reestablished in the earth today, all right. And when you deal, all right, with the image, okay, it's associated, all right, in left-handed practices, all right, mythology, all right, and wickedness that rebels itself against the Most High God, all right, and his son, Yahweh Shai, all right, and the heathen nations are letting you know, all right, with these particular rituals and with these mockings, all right, what they're all about. Now, as we have waken up to this truth, let's get that here in the book of Psalm 73 and 20. It says, "As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image." See, as a dream when one awaketh, so, O Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. And how has the Lord awakened in the planet Earth? He's awakened through sending prophets, all right, to give the people on the planet Earth an understanding of his mind. And one thing that we've ultimately pushed is that the Heavenly Father is not happy, all right, with the image, all right, of the beast, the image that they're establishing in the planet Earth, which is a culture, all right. It's a way of ruling. It's dealing with their policies. It's dealing with, how they view, gender, all right. They are establishing an image in the planet Earth as you go down, all right, to Revelation 13. And 14, it says, "And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles, the technology, the science," all right, which we got a lot that we need to get into, but Lord willing, in videos to come, we'll show you how this technology, how this beast system, all right, is really speaking here in these latter days, the miracles, all right, which is going to deceive people into believing that ultimately he is the Most High, okay, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, this beast system, this power structure he has, which ultimately fulfills Esau's blessing of having the fatness of the earth. He would ultimately, that blessing will be fulfilled through this beast system. It started with the Greeks, okay, and then you had the Roman Empire, which ultimately, the Western Roman Empire fell. But at the time of the Renaissance, okay, we had a rebirth of these, ideologies, and practices associated with the Greco-Roman Empire that were reborn into the earth. All right, and what did he say to them that dwell on the earth? That they should make an image to the beast, which had a womb by a sword and did live. okay? And that represents the Western Roman Empire that fell, but it did live, and it's living from the Renaissance period, all right, onto the Spanish, the French, okay, which the French or France is where these Olympic Games are being held, which nobody likes France, okay, and we'll show you a little history dealing with France video, but and then you had the British, then you had America. These particular empires rebirthed, all right, the Greco-Roman image into the earth, which the Greco-Roman image, all right, is this and more, all right, which this god Dionysus, that this is supposedly to represent, okay, the Greek god Dionysus. If you look it up, I'll go here, in ancient Greek religion. And when you get the book of First Maccabees, the first chapter, and when you read the book of Maccabees, this is what the Israelites engulfed themselves into. These are the practices and idols that they started to associate themselves with, you see? And you can read that in the Greek, you know, the book of Maccabees. You could also read the book of Romans, all right? The book of Romans, all right? Chapter 1, you can read from verse 18 on down, okay? But it talks about what happened to the Israelites as they were scattered among this Greco-Roman empire, how they got it infested with idols. Romans 1:22, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and we see that in the world today. That is speaking of what happened to the Israelites as they were scattered in this captivity. All right, they became Gentiles, heathen-like. All right, but we have to understand that this image associated with the Greco-Roman Empire is what the elites, all right, want to establish into the earth as a way to be. Do as they will, all right, undermining order, undermining boundaries, undermining gender, see, undermining limitations on what food can be, okay, undermining limitations in sex, see, and our people, as they get involved in this madness, okay, which, you know, here it is, you see our people, you know, getting ready to vote for, you know, Kamala, all right, they were happy for Obama, you know, they were happy for, you know, Biden, which all of these presidents, whether Democrat and Republican, are the devil, all right, but the left, when you deal with these Democrats, you know, they represent, all right, doing the bidding of the elite. You can see the policies and the way of life, all right, that they're fixated on pushing. And it all has to do with rebellion and sexual, you know, depravity, immorality, and all of these various different practices that are sick. And our people follow it. And they profess themselves to be wise with this woke, you know, culture, you know, these woke talking points. They've become atheists. They became fools. Okay? It says, and change the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like corruptible man, into birds, into four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, who worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who was blessed forever. Amen. And for this cause God gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use unto that which is against nature.
Y'all can't last while strapping down somebody.
Wow.
Y'all get tired quick.
Okay.
I would say the first time I used a strap, I did underestimate the workout.
It's a workout. Cut that fan on. Cut that fan on.
And I think for men, they get the energy because you get the actual feeling. So like you get through that. You know what I'm saying? It's a little less sensation for a woman compared to that. How y'all feel? Y'all get tired?
Man.
Your endurance is up? We've been working on
I
her.
remember one time I had a cramp. That wasn't fun. I never had a cramp before.
I can't stop shaking my head like this.
Do I get tired?
Hold up, the cramp, did you work through the cramp or did you like stop?
Oh, it was bad cramp. It was giving. It was giving. Yo! Like, put my leg up, stretch me out. I had to on legs like this, jiggles like this.
You gotta wiggle your toes. Did you wiggle your toes?
I gotta try this time if I get up.
You just gotta wiggle them like this.
Okay.
All right,
I didn't want to stay so stiff when it hurt.
No, wiggle your toes. It's gonna free it up. Sure.
The Charlie horse be killing me.
Likewise, also men leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust towards one another, men with men working that which is unseemly, receiving in themselves, all right, the recompense of the error which was meat. Okay? And even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, the Most High gave them up over to a reprobate mind to do the things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetous, maliciousness, envy, debate, murder, deceit, whispers, backbiters. And this is ultimately what follows once you take hold to these ideologies. All right, you start participating in orgies. Okay, you have no boundaries in how you live your life. And this is the image that's being pushed all throughout the four corners of the earth. That's why the scriptures say, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that have made the earth drunken. Okay? So it says in ancient Greek religion, all right, or more commonly, orgia in the plural was a type of ecstatic worship, all right, was a type of ecstatic, all right, worship ceremony associated with mystery cults. And this is ultimately all we're seeing. They're putting it out in your face, these mystery cults, all right, which, you know, performing orgies and doing all of this wickedness, all right, and this confusion is a big part of that. As you can see, all right, you got a bearded man with a, you know, dress, drag, you know, all kind of freaks. This represents a freak party. And in the middle, you have this, you know, morbidly obese woman who's supposed to be the anointed one, right? But it's their version of the anointed one. It's their God, all right? And she, I believe she's talking about suing because of the backlash. Obese Olympic Christ to sue over Last Supper backlash, all right? Because these people are dead set, okay, on pushing these idols and this wickedness, man. Okay? As this nigga here says, Paris Olympic drag queen Torchbearer has a message for the critics. We ain't going nowhere. Okay? So this is the foolishness and the sickness that's being spread. Now let's go back here. It says, one such ceremony was the orgia of Dionysus, an orgy. All right. The ceremony involved masked dances, all right, by torchlight and animal sacrifices that were meant to invoke or evoke Dionysus' suffering at the hands of the Titans. Okay, so Dionysus is their Christ. That's their anointed one, right? Some say, yada, 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 explain the role. Dionysian orgy allowed the bacchant to emerge from the ego to be united with the God, all right, of ecstatic exaltation, all right, of homophagia, dancing and wine, yada, yada, yada. So the orgy, all right, these orgies, all right, took place in the ancient Greco-Roman Empire. Okay, as you can see, they're here, they're naked. They got the little children there. You got the little boys. You got the horns. You got all type of freakism going on. Okay, this is what was going on at those Olympics. Okay, as you can see here, Olympic officials admit we are protecting a pedo ring at the Paris Olympics. Okay. So it's all type of madness going on. And I heard they've been taking videos down speaking on this. So I'm not going to go too deep. But ultimately what we saw at that Olympic, right, as we're seeing here, Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. See, the image of the beast, is far more deeper than just a picture of Caesar Borgia or white Jesus. It's a way of life. Okay? The culture, the policies, the government. And we've done videos going into the image of the beast and how the Greco-Roman Empire, all right, and its ways and its policies, all right, are really speaking today, all right, in this American beast system that we're living in, right? It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and life has been given to the image of the beast, starting with the Renaissance. And we always go into this, but what is the Renaissance? What was the purpose of the Renaissance? What was the purpose of the Renaissance? The Renaissance, which generally took place from the 14th to the 17th century, was a period of cultural, all right, see, cultural, artistic, all right, political and economic rebirth in Europe after the Middle Ages, after the Byzantine Empire, right? It's considered a turning point in history because it ushered in a new era, all right, of innovation and critical thinking that reshaped many areas, all right, dealing with art. They took down all of the dark images, all right, culture. They brought back that Greco-Roman way of life, which is filled, all right, with pedastry, which is pedophilia, darkness, wickedness, idol worship, okay, and all of the various different things. But what does the word Renaissance mean? All right. Renaissance definition. Renaissance definition. Yeah, we already read that. Let's just look up definition. The revival, all right, it basically means rebirth. You know, in a nutshell, the word Renaissance itself means rebirth. Okay? That's all it means. Okay? So when we're reading here in Revelation, the 13th chapter, as John the Revelator is showing you, you know, a vision, writing down a vision that he received, he saw, all right, America and the beast system, okay, give life to the image associated with the beast, all right, which is the ancient, all right, Roman Empire. But remember, it started with the Greeks, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as that would not worship the image that they should be killed. Okay, so before he brings his mark, he's going to make you bow to his image. Now, the scriptures tell us as the elect, let's get Romans 11. All right, so they want you to bow to their image, their ways, their ideology, their culture. And people who are speaking against, all right, their image will ultimately be killed. And we know that word killed can mean separated, all right, you know, distance, cut off, or it can mean physically put to death. As in times past, we had certain forefathers who were meant, you know, who were put in situations where they were given an ultimatum to bow to a particular image, like Daniel. Okay, well, you know, and you know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You see, they didn't bow to that image, and it put them in the threat of imminent death. Well, we're pretty much along those same lines, as we're not bowing to this image. This is Romans 11:4. All right, but what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved them to myself 7,000 men, symbolizing a 144. Okay, which through their message, the elect are going to be moved to fear the Lord. They have the new song. As a matter of fact, let's get Psalms 140 and 3. All right, or Psalms 40 and 3, Salakia. Psalms 40 and 3, it says, and he hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise into our power. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So as the new song is being sung by the elect men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who've been given the word, right? They are warning our people, all right, to fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, warning them of the wickedness of this world, telling them this is not their rest, all right? And many of our people, all right, the large multitude are being moved, all right, to fear the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, okay? And ultimately the message is not to bow the knee, all right? Because ultimately leaving this truth and accepting this world as okay means you bow the knee. And the full way to bow the knee, all right, is to ultimately take that chip, that mark, all right? But before people take that mark, they're being, force-fed with the satanic agenda that's wearing out their minds to the point where they don't have empathy anymore. They don't have morals anymore, okay? They don't have judgment anymore. Romans 11:4, but what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved it to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Now, when we look up this word image, which Baal is ultimately Satanism. All right, the image. All right, as a matter of fact, let's go to Revelation 13. All right, because before they bring that chip, all right, they're forcing this image on you, which ultimately makes you into a Satanist. It makes you completely anti-Messiah to where ultimately you're ready to give your soul into the beast, because once you accept, homosexuality, pedophilia, and all of the things that, the Biden administration and this beast system pushes, all right, what follows from that is a mind void of judgment. Okay? Now, the word image is icon. All right, this is where you get the word icon, the Greek word icon. All right, image, figure, likeness, and we're seeing the likeness of the Greco-Roman Empire here in today's times. And the Olympics is a big part of that Greco-Roman beast system that has ultimately survived, and we see it in our time now. I happen to track certain events, but ultimately we know, all right, what this all, is linked to, all right? And it was Jake that was participating in those Olympics. It was Jake that built, gyms and things dedicated to the idols of the heathen while in Jerusalem. It says used, all right, of the moral likeness of renewed men to God. The moral likeness, renewed, all right? Image, likeness, all right, one in whom the likeness of any is seen. And we're witnessing the likeness, all right, of the Greco-Roman Empire. Now, I got to play a few videos here that are speaking on the situation, and we'll get some more scriptures, a few more articles, and we'll close it out.
And imagine your kids are sitting there who go to church on Sundays, and they're seeing this as the opening. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead and play this as the opening. By the way, if you're with kids watching this today, hey, kids, just like when we watch movies and there are certain scenes, close your eyes. Mommy, daddy, tell your kids. This is for adults only. Go for it, Rob. Look at this. Look at this. To 1 billion plus people, what are they representing? The Last Supper. Who are they making fun of? Christians. They didn't make fun of Muslims in this scene. They don't dare. They don't make fun of anybody else. It's strictly to Christians.
What does that have to do with the Olympics? Saira, as I said,
You can pause it right here, Rob. We don't even continue with this. So,
but what about the guy when the blue guy
dancing? The whole thing with the guy dancing.
This was the most shocking thing.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't even want you to zoom in.
Yeah.
But if you watch this, the guy on the left.
Next to the kid.
Yeah. If
He
you
has a beard.
Go back a little bit, Rob. Rewind a little bit right there. Okay, go back half a second. Okay. Let it play right there. The guy on the black next to the kid to the left.
Right
He's
there.
got these things that are called testicles that are hanging out.
Oh.
Just so you know. Okay. Right there. Boom. Right there. Okay?
Hey.
So, by the way, this is called the Olympics, a family-friendly environment for your kids to aspire to want to be in the Olympics. And do you know what Macron tweets while this is taking place? You know what he tweets? Here's what he tweets. He tweets out and says, "This is France." And I retweet his tweet and I said, it's all starting to make sense about France.
Good.
Tom.
Now, when you deal with France, when you deal with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, the 7 heads is the Greeks, the Romans, Germania Major, Germania Minor, All right, France, Spanish, British. Out of the British came America, all right, and also the state of Israel. But if you look at it, France is a part of the beast system, all right. So they themselves hold to the customs associated with the image of the beast. See?
When you saw this, what was your reaction as a parent?
Well, on one hand, you're not surprised because they're, you give artists, a platform like this, and the one thing they want to do is push the envelope and push it over. But I was insulted. It's terribly insulting. And I look at it this way. There's only, who do you attack? You try to attack the truth. You try to attack strength. So it doesn't surprise me that Christians, Catholics, Protestants, Mormons, that whole lane that line up as Christian faiths get attacked. And it
really, they're coming after the truth, period, man. This is the book of Jeremiah 50 and 38, all right? Because you Christians, you Catholics, you Protestants, y'all haven't stood for truth like that, man. Ultimately, what they're combating, all right, is this word that's coming out from the prophets, letting it be known that this is what we intend to establish in the planet Earth. To hell with what you're talking about, all right? Again, we're living in an anti-Messiah system, and they're letting it be known this is what we intend to establish. And when you look at our message, it's completely in opposition to what they want. Jeremiah 50 and 38, it says, "A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols," man. And this is speaking of Babylon the Great, but this whole beast system is engulfed in idols, all right? We'll go back to that one. Let's play a little bit of this one. My guy called for an uprising.
To the Wake Up Call channel, there are certain events that I cover knowing that there's going to be satanic imagery or some type of agenda behind it. For example, the Super Bowl and the halftime show, or the Grammy Awards, they're always filled with satanic symbols and messaging that I show everybody out there so they can see it in plain sight. And the Olympic opening ceremonies are one and the same. I always wait for it to occur, knowing that there's going to be something.
And the closer they get to the end of their, what they want done, to usher in their NWO, they have to be more blatant. You see, they have to be more and more blatant with it. And again, when you look at this culture, it takes us back, all right, to the philosophy that came from the garden, do as thou wilt, rebellion, all right, which after the flood, it was the Hamites who took to those practices, the Canaanites, or as a matter of fact, when you get Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter in the GNT, in the 3rd verse, it says, "You hated the people who lived in your holy land long ago because they did horrible things. They practiced magic and conducted unholy worship. They murdered children without mercy and ate the flesh and blood of human beings. They were initiated into secret rituals in which parents murdered their own defenseless children." And we just saw, all right, they're admitting that this is what's going on at these Olympics. What we saw in the form of these, little rituals and mockings, it's just half of the story. What's happening out there in France is what's happening worldwide in this beast system. All right. It's crazy. You see? And the biblical Edomites, when they came into power, they tapped into the religion of the Canaanites, the religion of the ancient Babylonians, the religion of the Egyptians, and ultimately forwarded all of that madness. All right, the Greeks and the Romans forwarded all of that madness, okay, to ultimately forward their own empires. You see? So the same energy going back to the Canaanites, all of that is back here today. And it's fulfilled in the image of the beast. And this man will ultimately reestablish that image into the earth. And we're witnessing it. Let's go back.
That I probably need to cover. And in 2024, the Summer Olympic opening ceremony didn't disappoint. It didn't disappoint in the sense of it was filled so much with satanic imagery that you will not believe. That trending worldwide on Twitter while this was going on were words like satanic, Satanism, Sodom, and Gomorrah. It is beyond my comprehension at this point, some of the stuff they're getting away with in plain sight. But this needs to be decoded because there's some things that are very obvious, like you'll see in the clips I'm about to play for you. And then there's a lot of symbolism with what the globalists are trying to create around the world. Something kind of like a French Revolution in a sense, the one that they're honoring here at the Olympics. I kid you not. So here's some clips that I took for you. Hopefully you have a barf bag nearby because you may need to use it, where you can see what the Olympics have turned into. Are they gaslighting people with this, or are they serious? It is absolutely an abomination. But the signs and symbols are right in front of us, including things like the pale horse. Take a look.
As I said,
performing a song King.
And this is their form of love, which is freedom from the bounds of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. As a matter of fact, let's get, all right. So don't bow the knee to the image of Baal, man. Let's get Revelation or Romans or Psalms. So Lucky, I'm a little tired just now getting back. Let's see, Romans chapter 2. Okay. And let's get this in the NLT. It says, the kings of the earth, basically, why do the, Psalms 2 and 1, why do the heathen rage, basically? Why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans? The kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord and against his anointed one. See, his anointed one is Yahweh Shai. Okay, see, what these nations are basically saying is that here it is, we're telling the world that, the Most High God is going to establish his son to rule on the earth. They're basically saying, hell no. Ultimately, we're going to rule, all right? We're the gods of the earth. This is the standard and culture in which the world will be held to, not your stupid, order. See, which the earth is in need of order. When you look out into the earth, can't you clearly see that order is needed, that the law, statutes, and commandments is needed? Satanism, which is rooted in rebellion, being adverse to righteousness, has polluted the earth. Look at the earth. Look at the water. Look at the food. Look at the children. Look at everybody just looking at their cell phone, getting more and more stupid by the second. Okay, they're telling you now generations X and Z, have the highest rates of cancer. It's because they stuck to all of these technologies. Right? Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. All right, and when you go back to the philosophy of the serpent, okay, in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, all right, Genesis 3 and 4, you won't die if you eat that fruit, the serpent replied to the woman. Okay, God knows that your eyes will be open, and as soon as you eat it, you will be like God, knowing both good and evil, which was true. All right, but the aspect of us not dying from eating that fruit, okay, was a lie. Okay, and it was rooted, the serpent's philosophy was pretty much, why bind yourself to the order of the Most High when you can have liberty and freedom to do as you wilt? And that feels good to the flesh. But the end result of it is what? Death. And see, that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing all over the planet Earth. Let's go back here. See that? Behold the bell. They're letting you know, all right, that they're coming with those plans. Let's get Revelation 6. We don't have to spend too much time on this, but basically what this is all rooted in is the image of the beast. Okay? Romans chapter 6, or Revelation chapter 6 and 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him that sat on it was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given him unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. And this is what they're bringing, so that they can go ahead and establish their NWO, they're going to have to bring the sword, famine, death, sickness, and they're letting you know this is what we're bringing. These are the biblical Edomites right here. Okay, and their beast system, all right, and their futile plan, all right, to rescue humanity from enslavement to the Most High's plan, because that's how they look at righteousness, as ultimately a burden. So this new way of life associated with the Greco-Roman beast system, which really it goes back to ancient Babylon, which again, at that time, Nimrod led a rebellion, the first attempt at a new world order. Okay? It's all the same thing happening over again.
So that's a lot to uncover. There's the obvious stuff that you see where you have bearded ladies walking the runway, which of course are really bearded men, but you're supposed to call them ladies in 2024 because we're in the upside down. But let's start with a few of these things because there's a lot of them to talk about. So make sure you watch this in full because you're not going to want to miss any of it. The theme of the French Revolution, and a salute to Marie Antoinette, is so in front of your faces that it should blow your mind. But most people don't even know what they're referencing. They're referencing the French Revolution that occurred in 1789. You saw some of the bloodshed on the screen. I'll get into Marie Antoinette. For those of you that don't know, let me give you a quick summary of the French Revolution. It occurred in the late 1700s, 1789 to be exact. During this period, does this sound very similar to the same thing they're staging around the earth right now? French citizens radically altered their political landscape, uprooting centuries-old institutions. This is when we saw the rise of Napoleon, who staged a coup d'etat, abolishing the Directory and appointing himself France's first consul. Now, you might say, well, what does that have to do with anything going on in the world? Well, specifically in America, everybody's noticing this, right? Because they're trying to stage something very similar to the French Revolution here in America, but it's not just here in America. Because the same blueprint, which I've shown everybody who's followed my channel for years now, the same exact blueprint with the same exact characters are being played out around the earth right now. For example, in Argentina, Javier Milei, you know, the guy that's getting all this publicity in America, hanging out with Elon Musk, playing the same exact character as Donald Trump, right? And who do they constantly compare Donald Trump to, other than, of course, Hitler? They compare him to Napoleon, Trump and the Napoleonic rule of war. And Trump is just a staged character in everything you see going on right now, just like all of these people in positions of power, like Javier and like another.
So this is nothing but a ritual, planned ritual, all right, that marks, all right, them, all right, pushing forth their agendas to get what they want. Okay, they're letting you know, all right, openly what they plan on doing. Okay?
Countries, we see these people put in positions of power who are causing chaos by design so that they can do what? They can bring in new order. They can destroy centuries-old institutions, which is what you're seeing. So it's so fitting that right now, while this occurs in Paris, they're paying homage to the French Revolution while they're really trying to cause that all around the earth by putting actors in place, running for political positions of power who aren't really running. They're put in these positions, and they're all staging, in a sense, a coup d'etat. But we'll see a bigger one coming with the fake election in November. And this was just setting the precedent for it. So as I continue on, because there's a lot to uncover, the theme of off with their head, I have to cover the off with their head. Because the fact that they're paying homage at the Olympics to Marie Antoinette is fitting. It's fitting because if you don't know the history of Marie Antoinette was found guilty of 3 charges: conspiring with foreign powers, the depletion of the state treasury, and of committing high treason by acting against the security of the French state. And of course, what happened to Marie was off with her head. And that's where that whole expression, off with their heads, comes from. It comes from Marie Antoinette. I'm sure you've heard it in Alice in Wonderland or in other MK Ultra programming, but it's very fitting because right now, what you're seeing from the Republicans and the Democrats around the earth is staged sabotage. And they're all guilty of treason. The Republicans and the Democrats who are working together to do what? Pull the ultimate coup d'etat. And that's what they're doing. So let's move forward past the symbolism of the French Revolution. And of course, Marie Antoinette has her hands rooted in Freemasonry. Of course, her father, the Emperor Francis I, was a Freemason, and people close to Marie were affiliated with Freemasonry and lodges.
Also symbolizing that it's going to be off with the head of anyone who rebels against what they want. You see, as I was looking at an article, all right, where pretty much guillotines are back. They're purchasing a whole hell of a lot of guillotines. I'll see if I can find it, but let's keep listening.
specifically that she was favorable to. So you see the bloodshed. They even show you not just the decapitation and the talking head, which for some people is satanic enough. They show bloodshed all over the screen. So then we get to the real obvious stuff here, right? The mockery that they continue to do. This is why Sodom and Gomorrah was trending. You see them mocking what? The Last Supper, the depiction of the Last Supper, right? You can see that every single person in this Last Supper, for the most part, identifies as the opposite gender. And what is the person at the center who has the crown on its head, referencing Apollo, which again ties in with that orange man? That really is what this theme is about in the long run, at least for us here in America. But you have the sun god worship, the Apollo worship with the crown. And then if you actually look closely, this is really important for people to grasp, because I've exposed this symbol. And you never hear anybody talk about this symbol. And it's very important now, because this symbol is one of the most prominent symbols. And I believe this symbol is going to be used for the Antichrist. This heart symbol.
And basically, love is the keeping of the commandments on the right-hand side. In their world, love is freedom, all right, from what true love is. See? And that's the world they're setting up. Rebellion against truth, rebellion against order, rebellion against standards, rebellion against gender. See? It's madness. See? And when you rebel against gender, all right, which this whole thing is a big part of that, you know, with the whole trans thing, which, you know, Biden, you know, was used by the elites to help, you know, push that along with Obama and all of these devils over here in the West. But when you deal with that, man, that's a high level of rebellion. All right, when you say that there is no gender. As a matter of fact, this damn it's getting so bad, all right, that a female boxer was a biological male who changed himself into a woman, fought an actual female boxer, and she quit after 47 seconds saying, this nigga hitting me too hard. This is madness. This is the type of confusion that spews from rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man.
That we see celebrities hold up time and time again. Now, I've exposed this symbol before, but I'll recap it for anybody out there that's new. The heart is a symbol associated with Nimrod among the ancient Babylonians.
See that? The heart, symbol of Nimrod among the ancient Babylonians, and that we're in this is basically all reviving that Babylonian way of life back here into this earth. According to Young's Analytical Concordance, the Bible Concordance, the word for heart of the Babylonian language was Baal or Baal. It was a symbol of Baal, the lord of the Babylonians, which is ultimately Satan. See, and the scriptures told us that we are not to bow the knee. The Lord has reserved unto himself a group that ain't gonna bow the knee to this disarray and this disorder and this wickedness. This is madness.
The word for heart in the Babylonian language was Baal. The heart symbol that you see all of these celebrities holding up is a symbol for Baal, Lord of the Babylonians. That's what it means. That's why Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, every single celebrity holds this up. And that's why the trans movement holds it up. They want you to think that this has something to do with accepting us. We love you, love everyone, tolerate everyone. It's deception. Everybody knows that the heart...
See, they're able to take terms like love and hate and reverse them. See, as the scriptures say, whoa. Let's get that. Turning... Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed of him say to him that framed it, he hath no understanding? And that's basically what these wicked people are doing. All right, they've been able to turn love into rebellion. All right, and hatred, because the scriptures tell you, ye that love the Lord. Let's get that Psalms 97. Psalms 97:10. So to stand for righteousness makes you hateful, and to be a complete, all right, Satanist, all right, is associated with true love. Love wins. They even taken the symbol of the rainbow, which was associated with, you know, the Lord, all right, promising Noah he wouldn't flood the earth by water again. They've taken that and attributed to their left-handed satanic ritual agenda of the alphabet gang. Psalms 97:10, ye that love the Lord hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. He delivereth them out of the hand of the wicked. All right. The scriptures say hate the evil. All right. Amos 5:15, hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. So again, we are commanded to hate the evil and love the good. But see, we're living in a society and a system that has established an image into the earth where love is rebellion and wickedness, okay, and freedom from righteousness, all right, and hate, as the scriptures say, he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. All right, we are to hate evil. Does that mean we go out and harm people? No, that's just a mindset. All right, and what we teach our children and what the standard that we stick to, amongst our own, is to not do these things and to be a push against these things. See, but we live in a world where they've been able to make love, they've taken the term love, okay, and associated it with rebellion. Let's get the scripture. All right, evil, good. Yep, Isaiah 5:20. All right. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put light for darkness. All right. All right. Let's read it again. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. All right. And we know amargo is where you get the word bitter. All right. This is a bitter experience, but they've had the ability with the witchcraft, all right, to put darkness for light. All right, as it says in the book of Job, the 10th chapter, right? So good is evil here, to where now when you're standing for righteousness, people can say that's not love. See, that's hateful. So again, this is why the Lord is going to send his only begotten son, because ultimately the laws and the system and as the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, it's not meant to protect people who stand for righteousness. And that's the implementation of the image of the beast in the planet Earth that you're going to have to bow to. You're going to have to bow to this mindset that they're trying to root and establish into the earth. Job 10:21 says, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness, as the shadow of death, as a land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, where the light is as darkness. So the light is darkness here. And this is why he ultimately is Lucifer, because let's get that in Isaiah the 14th chapter real quick. Basically, Isaiah 14:12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And we've broke this down many times, all right? Heaven ultimately can mean the heavens as in, the Shemayim, when you look up, all right? But it could also mean a lofty position, okay? And him falling from heaven is him falling, all right, from this lofty position, all right? Shemayim can also mean to be lofty. Okay, you can see here, as it says that his head would reach into the clouds. Okay, but to be lofty, okay, to get proud. So how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? All right, how art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? All right. And how did he weaken the nations? Let's look up this word weaken, through these philosophies. Okay? Chalash. All right? To be weak, to prostrate. He's made the nations to bow to these idols, to prostrate themselves, all right, to these wicked ways and do away with their own ways. And this comes with these nations, taking on these loans, all right, associated with these economic hitmen who come to their nations to tell them, if you don't bow to our way, or basically they offer them a loan, Salaki, and if they take the loan, all right, not only, do the people who live in those lands, all right, become slaves to debt, but they take over education, they take over entertainment, they take over all of the, corporations and everything in that land. And ultimately what happens is the people are at a disadvantage. And by the time you go a generation down the line, the people have fully been prostrated themselves and been weakened. Okay, they've been weakened in the sense that they fell away from the natural order and ways that they were supposed to be living, the ways of their fathers. All right, but again, the word Lucifer is Hayalal, and it just means light bearer. So basically, he's introducing a alternate light to the world. And all it is speaking of the king of Babylon when you read this chapter. The king of Babylon is Satan, all right? He calls himself the shining one. Now, when you read the book of Revelation, the 2nd chapter, right? Or Revelation 22. Revelation 22 and 16, it says, I, Yahushua, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. So Yahushua is the true bright and morning star. All right. But on the left hand, all right, the children of Satan are saying, no, we are the bright and morning star. And they're giving unto you, all right, a false alternate version of what light is. True light is the instruction, all right, given by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Under the first covenant, all right, the high priest, his name was Aaron, right? Let's see here. What does Aaron mean? All right, Aharon, Aharawan, all right, Arawan, light bringer. See that? The true light is the instructions and the law, statutes, and commandments associated with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See, but we're living in a system where Lucifer, which represents the elites, all right, the elite witches and warlocks, banking families who rule this earth, all right, they've pretty much set up a system to where nothing but darkness has been spread, but they're presenting it as love, as life, as light. See that?
Inside your body looks nothing like that symbol. But does anybody ever ask why that symbol is associated with the organ inside of our bodies? No, they don't. Because they don't want you to know why they've normalized these signs and symbols. And Baal worship, Antichrist worship, these are things that are getting normalized in front of us, like the all-seeing eye symbol that we see every single celebrity do every single time they're photographed on a magazine cover. There's a picture of every celebrity holding one hand up over their eye, and there's an eye on the back of your dollar bill, but nobody connects the dots about these secret societies who run and control everything. Signs and symbols rule the world. The heart symbol is...
Yes, they're ushering in a new world. All right, and it's going to be rooted and governed by Satanism, which is rebellion. All right, and with that, all right, they intend on, all right, excommunicating righteousness out of the planet Earth. And they're dead set on doing it. They're very serious about this.
In reference to Baal. That's why the LGBT have adopted that symbol, and all these celebrities push it on you. And now you see all of these. I've seen pictures of kids taking their college yearbook photos or their graduation photos, putting it up outside their home. This is a new thing that people do apparently. And the kids are holding up the heart symbol. They don't have to...
They're all being ushered into this satanic religion. Because true love, let's get Romans. What is true love? Romans chapter 13 and 8. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. For this thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. All right, which the word kill there is really for murdering. Thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet, and if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. So they've been able to take all of these wicked practices and through witchcraft manipulate the mind to believing that this is love. And the end result is what we're seeing here.
Slightest clue what it means. They think it just means love and happiness. Well, guess what? The Antichrist is going to come in the name of love. It is the
And there is no one Antichrist, but there are many anti-messiahs, and we're living in an anti-messiah system ran by people who are against the Messiah, against righteousness. We are witnessing the battle against good and evil if you're looking at this thing with a spiritual eye.
symbol of Baal. Speaking of Baal, he had to make an appearance, didn't he? Of course, there's a giant golden statue of Baal right on the stage, prominently placed. Because again, the Olympics themselves, the Olympic Games, are paying homage to the god of this world.
And it's funny, sacrifice to devils. Let's see. I believe it's in the book of, I forget. Something I remember the brother brought it out. Devils. Maybe let's see, in the priest ordained for the devils. The word for devils, Shai Yayar, Shah Ayar, hairy he-goat as a sacrifice animal. See? And again, this is the left-handed practices that have always got in the way of our people and the Heavenly Father. All right, and here it is. In our final captivity, we're seeing these things are rooted, all right, all in this thing.
In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God.
Now, he doesn't know what he's talking about, but that's true. The God of this world is Satan, and he has blinded the minds of many people. This is why when they hear the truth, they've already been programmed from a child up, all right, to be against the message of righteousness and to reject it.
Should shine unto them. The God of this world is Lucifer, and that is what this entire charade.
His God of this world isn't Lucifer, all right? Lucifer just means light bearer. Lucifer is speaking to the elites of this world. The God of this world is ultimately Satan, okay? Which ultimately is the top demon on the left-hand side in the heavens, all right, as the Heavenly Father deals with both good and evil, all right? Evil had to play itself out in the planet Earth, and the children of Satan are the biblical Edomites who are luring all nations, all right, and gathering them unto this NWO, okay, in this charagma, all right? We are here, okay? But again, Lucifer just means light bearer, and it's speaking to the elites of this world as they have what? Put themselves in a position to be like the Most High. I will be like the Most High. Let's go back. Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14. All right. And this whole chapter is talking about the king of Babylon, the wicked, and then he's eventually called Lucifer. Isaiah 14 and 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. All right, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. All right, basically, I will put myself in the position of the Most High. All right, I will ultimately rule over the people, especially the Israelites over here in North America. Okay, and basically have a foothold on righteousness. I will ascend into the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that shall see thee shall narrowly look on thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and that did shake nations? Is this the man? Because this is a nation of people that are going to be taken down. See, and this goes into what Isaiah, the 24th chapter, foretells. This is why the prophets need to break the Bible down. You guys do your job, go into these different rituals and different things you see. But when it comes to the breaking down of the scriptures, let the men of the Lord do it. Okay? Isaiah 24 and 21. And it shall come to pass that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. They're going to fall from their lofty position. Okay? Now, in their mythology, in their cults, they do, call on, a god named Lucifer, right? But when you go into the scriptures, that ain't talking about Satan himself being kicked out of heaven. It's all symbolizing the fall of Esau, Edom, the elites of this world, and the grip that they have over the earth. Because Esau is the end of the world. We can't forget that, right? See, all of these Bible believers, they want to tap into the scriptures and say we're at the end, but they never want to associate it with Esau.
Of the Olympic ceremony, which is Apollo worship, is really...
And it's funny that Lucifer means light bearer, but then you have a group of people, all right, associated with this term Illuminati. As you see this, you see that? Now, what does that word mean? Okay, it means let's see, enlightened. Okay, illuminated, the enlightened ones. They saying that they have the light. Okay, you go back to the British, the Age of Enlightenment. Okay, where the Age of Enlightenment, also known as the Age of Reason and Enlightenment, was the intellectual and psychological movement that occurred in Europe in the 17th and 18th centuries. It was a part of the beast system. And when you go into what they brought, what they were into, it was madness. Okay? Philosophers and scientists of the period widely circulated their ideas through meetings, scientific, academic, Masonic lodges. Basically, the madness, man. Okay? Wickedness, left-hand practices, and Satanism has been forwarded in the earth, all right, through these devils. Look at them. Nothing good will ever come from these people. You finish it off.
About. As we continue on from the Baal worship, we see a reference to a pale horse. I don't think they're paying homage to Bill Cooper's book, Behold the Pale Horse. What we're obviously seeing is, once again, them referencing the four horsemen of the apocalypse. This is a common theme that they're doing right now, right in front of us all the time. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. And this is a common theme that we're seeing, the pale horse. Now, I've covered Beyonce, who they are rolling out time and time again with these biblical references to the four horsemen of the apocalypse. The pale horse, the black horse, the red horse, the white horse. You can see pictures of Beyonce prominently doing this, but the audience out there watching is too dumbed down to even realize what they're seeing. This is biblical. This has to do with the stuff that you see going on around the earth right now. Prophecy is playing out. And again, as we move forward in this event, of course, everybody knows of the lighting of the torch, but they never think anything of it, of what the lighting of the torch is. And I've covered the eternal flame and its roots, why John F. Kennedy has the eternal flame on his grave. And it means the obvious, infinite, which is a theme of the New World Order, infinite. Recreation, never leaving, that they're infinite. And that's what the eternal flame stands for, but it's also the eternal flame of Lucifer. And of course, why wouldn't they roll out a Luciferian that makes no sense whatsoever to have any affiliation with the Olympics? They rolled out Snoop Dogg. Now, nobody knows. You'd be very hard-pressed to find anybody that knows why Snoop Dogg is as famous as he is. Most people couldn't even name 2 Snoop Dogg songs, let alone 1 Snoop Dogg song. But Snoop Dogg, of course, is playing his role in the New World Order. Nobody questions what he's famous for. They just roll him out day in and day out. You might remember, of course, that he was buddy-buddy with Donald Trump and then conveniently showed himself assassinating Donald Trump in one of his music videos for a song that nobody knows, because, again, nobody knows any Snoop Dogg songs for the most part, right? And again, I showed you this predictive programming with the Trump assassination in the compilation of clips that have seed planted in people's minds without them even realizing you've been getting shown the assassination attempt of Donald Trump for years and years and years, 8 years plus to be exact. So Snoop Dogg was friends with him until, of course, he became president. Then he decided to put in predictive programming in his music video of him shooting the president. But of course, he wasn't arrested for any type of threat towards the sitting president, right? And
very interesting.
Of course, what else do we see with Snoop Dogg? Well, he's decided that he wants to wear a little necklace in his photos for the Olympics. And what's the necklace of? Well, it's of the Baphomet, the goat. Now, most people will see this because the dumbed down people out there will laugh when they hear me talking about the goat because they've been trained that goat means the greatest of all time. So every celebrity can now get away with having a Baphomet on their shirt, tattooed on their neck, wherever. They just say that, well, it means the greatest of all time. They don't ask themselves for 5 seconds if Snoop Dogg is the greatest of all time, if anybody ever has said that Snoop Dogg is the greatest rapper of all time, because nobody's ever said that. And that's why every rinky-dink celebrity can get away with calling themselves the GOAT and wearing all this goat jewelry. This is satanic worship. That is the Baphomet right on his neck. And that's why they've normalized things like goat yoga right in front of your faces, and nobody's paid attention to it. And that's why they can take acronyms and they can take all of these things affiliated with Baphomet and normalize it and get away with it because they know that society is too dumb to figure out what's going on, and they've been trained when they hear someone like me explain it to them to dismiss.
So basically, a left-handed satanic religion is being established as an order in the earth. Let me see if there's any more.
The theme of Friday the 13th and what it comes from the execution of the Knights Templar, who were executed because of their Baphomet worship and the depravity that they were involved in and the scheming and other things, kind of like the stuff you see going on in today's world out in the open. And people took care of the Knights Templar for their worship of the Baphomet. That's why they tell you that Friday the 13th is a day you should be afraid of, because you shouldn't actually be afraid of it. Everything's inverted. It's a day that the elites hate, that the wicked hate, because it's a day that people stood up against satanic worship. So they did a little homage to Assassin's Creed as well. But let's recap all the depravity that we saw, right? We see them constantly doing this. They're doing this not just to gaslight us. They're doing this because, again, the repetition. The more they show us men dressed as women, bearded men, bearded ladies, whatever you...
And as we always show you, all of these things, including the man dressed as a woman, it deals with idols, you see. But, I don't want to waste too much more time on it. Let's see here. I haven't been able to throw up no news, but we're back, Lord willing. We'll get into these things, but yeah, man, crazy times, man. May the Lord's will be done. All right, shalom.